Long before the world knew the glittering icon who would electrify stadiums and redefine pop stardom, there was a quiet boy named Reginald Kenneth Dwight. Born on March 25, 1947, in Pinner, a modest suburb in Middlesex, England, Reginald's early world was one of routine and restraint. His father, a Royal Air Force officer, was stern and emotionally distant. His mother, though loving, often at odds with her husband. Yet even in that conservative home, there was a piano, and that piano would become his sanctuary. By the age of 4, Reginald could play tunes by ear. By 7, he was studying classical music, and by 11, he earned a scholarship to the Royal Academy of Music. But formal education wasn't his dream. His true passion, his calling, was storytelling through sound, pop melodies, and bold self-expression. The young man who would become Elton John began his musical journey not under stage lights, but in the shadows of pubs, performing with local bands like Bluesology. These were the formative years: smoky rooms, endless rehearsals, cheap suits, and dreams too big for the tiny stages he played on. It was during this time that Reginald Dwight made a choice that would change everything. He renamed himself Elton John, borrowing the names of 2 bandmates. It wasn't just a name change, it was a transformation. A signal to the world that something larger than life was beginning. But Elton's greatest creative partnership was still ahead. In 1967, fate brought him together with a young lyricist named Bernie Taupin. Their bond was instant and unshakable. They didn't write songs in the same room, but together they wrote stories that touched the soul. Elton would receive Bernie's lyrics and breathe life into them through melody. It was magic, and it was only the beginning. In 1970, Elton John stepped onto the stage at the Troubadour Club in Los Angeles, and the world never looked at him the same again. Just 23 years old, wearing a modest outfit and seated behind a piano, he stunned the crowd. What began as polite curiosity turned into roaring applause. The critics were floored. The industry was shaken. A star had truly been born, not quietly, but with fire. That same year, he released Your Song, a gentle piano ballad with a heart-melting melody and a boyish sincerity that cut through the noise of the era. It climbed the charts and stayed there, not because it was loud, but because it was honest, it was vulnerable. And it showed the world that Elton John was not just a performer, he was a storyteller of the highest kind. From there, the rocket took off. In the span of just a few years, Elton released a staggering run of successful albums: Tumbleweed Connection, Madman Across the Water, Honky Chateau, and Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, each more ambitious and brilliant than the last. With Bernie's evocative lyrics and Elton's fearless compositions, they created music that felt both personal and universal. But Elton wasn't just a musical genius, he was becoming a spectacle. His stage costumes grew louder, flashier, and more extravagant. He wore feather boas, rhinestone glasses, sequin suits, and platform shoes like a knight wears armor. And he did it all with confidence, turning flamboyance into power. In an industry full of stars, Elton became a constellation. Yet behind the glitz was a man driven by both love and pain. The pressure to perform, to maintain success, and to hide his struggles wore heavily on him. But through it all, he kept playing, kept singing, kept writing. Because for Elton John, music wasn't a career, it was survival, a lifeline, a way to say what couldn't be spoken. By the mid-1970s, Elton John was the biggest pop star on the planet. He had sold millions of records, performed sold-out shows around the world, and broken barriers with every step. But he remained grounded in one essential truth: his bond with Bernie Taupin. It was their collaboration that fueled the fire, and it was their friendship that kept it human. Even in these early years, Elton John was more than an artist. He was a force, unapologetically himself, brimming with contradictions, shy yet flamboyant, classical yet rebellious, grounded in heartbreak yet always reaching for the stars. There was a kind of magic in watching him become himself, moment by moment, album by album. And beneath every glitter-covered performance, behind every outlandish pair of glasses, was still the boy from Pinner, haunted by doubts, lifted by dreams, and endlessly chasing a sound that could make sense of it all. The curtain had only just risen, and already the stage belonged to him. The world wasn't ready, but Elton John was. The past is not forgotten. It lives again through these stories, these images, and these voices. Thank you for joining us in History Gets Alive. Until next time, keep remembering, keep reflecting, and don't forget to subscribe our channel.